Hey, so I'm live. I am alive. So if anybody is going to stop, that would be great because it's Saturday around 6:40 p.m. I haven't planned this live stream, but I'm sure you might get a notification or something that I'm live. Hey, I see the first comment. Salam. Ash is amazing. So thank you because I wasn't sure if anyone will stop by. Oh no! My mouse. My mouse dropped. Anyways, I have to do this then without the mouse because I would have to pick it up, and I'm not gonna do that. I'm just laying comfortably in my what is this chair? Anyways, thank you guys for stopping by. It's going well. Thanks for asking. And hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully you can see me. Um, it's Saturday. It's weekend. It's been a weird day today. I was shooting a few videos for YouTube, but I don't know. A weird day. I was watching a lot of YouTube videos about villagers who react on some crazy videos or modern inventions, like from some villagers from India. And it's been one of the best things I've discovered recently. Anyways, today I want to talk about what's the biggest problem with the Ummah, with Muslims, according to me. And I'm a new Muslim, so I don't even have any actually um, weight in this. Um, Even today, I was in a halal shop and I told the guy I'm a Muslim, and he was like, say Al Fatiha, prove it. So I had to prove to him like I'm a Muslim, and I stopped in the middle. I said like, hey, I'm not gonna say Al Fatiha to you. What is this? Why? What? I don't look Muslim? What? So, anyways, today we're gonna talk about what's the most important thing overall. What's the most important thing in our faith, but also generally in other faiths or religions, and why are there problems with the ummah? Because this week I was doing a lot of things, in terms of I'm organizing this debate. I've met with a ton of people who have some influence locally here, whether that's a masjid or a leader of Islamic foundation or something like that, or with the guys after Juma I went out and so we had some discussions, and it's it's really saddening what this situation is. So I just want to bring it back. So, Salam Alaikum. It's going, Alhamdulillah, all praise is to Allah. So it's going good. It's going good. It's been a weird day, I'm not going to lie, but it's going good. So, first of all, what's the most important thing? What am I talking about here? So, I've realized a lot of times when I visit different mosques or speak to actually people outside of YouTube, let's say in the community, we tend to focus a lot of our efforts on what's halal, what's haram, how do we do this, how do we do dawah or something, how do we present Islam in the proper way, why why is this possible, why is this not possible. And I think it's all about these rules, or what's this name written on this, let's say we pray and there's a name in Arabic and we want to translate it, or we're looking at some Arabic text, or what's the sunnah for this, what how many rakats are these people doing, these Sufis, you have different sects. And to me all of that is secondary. And if we spend a lot of time looking at all those things, it will drive people away, because maybe for a few people that is interesting to really understand, okay, what's the sunnah here, or why are these people doing this many rakats, or what is, I don't know, um, what is a specific thing in Islam for this group of people, or why is this halal, what's the length of beard, I don't know, all these things. Is this the most important thing we should be discussing as the ummah? Is this the most important thing we should be reminding ourselves? Because the entire purpose or reason why I was introduced to Islam was because of Islamic reminders from different sheikhs online, but the reminders were on point. The reminders were not about how big is your beard, how hijab should be worn, what does this hadith say, why is this authentic, why is this not authentic. What about this? It wasn't about that at all. It was about one thing and one thing only. There is Allah. There is God. That's the entire purpose of your faith. You recognize that there is a creator. And we don't really talk about him a lot, almost at all. Tawheed. That's the purpose why I was drawn into Islam, the concept of Tawheed. And this is 99% of people are not drawn to Islam. Maybe they've interested, like I was interested, why is music haram? I wanted to find out, which it isn't technically 100% consensus on it. So, anyways, but I wanted to find out all these things. But the one thing that caught my attention was the Tawheed. And we no longer discuss it. Nobody cares about it. It's like a given that, of course, Tawheed. But like the knowledge, of course, you know Tawheed, but the reminder has to be there every few days. Like, why do you do this? Why do you always say Allahu Akbar, Allah? So you don't forget. But we only do it in Salat. But if we are talking about something as a group of people somewhere, we never mention Tawheed. We never mention these things. We just focus on who should you marry? How much should they do mahr or this thing? Like, okay, these are issues that need to be solved, but 90%, I would say maybe 99, 95%, at least in my opinion, maybe I'm completely wrong and don't take me seriously, but 95% of our message, of our dawah, of our communication within our group also should be about Tawheed, should be about Allah's attributes, so that you understand. Because if you understood who Allah is, you wouldn't do haram. Because, like, why would you drink alcohol if you know who Allah is? That's what helped me. But I know Muslims who are more Muslim than me. They have a beard, they do whatever, and they drink alcohol or they eat haram, they eat non halal meat. Um, but they do it. Or they smoke cigarettes. Like, what? Why are you doing it if you know who Allah is? They probably don't. They probably know who Allah is, but they forgot. They need a reminder, but they are not getting it because nobody's reminding our people in the mosque or anywhere who Allah is and what's the purpose of your life. We're dealing with these small issues, non existing issues, because we have a case now, big case in our ummah here locally. Big case. There's a girl from Slovakia who doesn't want to wear hijab because she was harassed by a couple of people and she feels unsafe because of her kids. And so I'm not going to talk about my opinion on this because it's irrelevant. But there's a big fight about this topic. Like, what should she do? And it's like, is this the how is this the measurement stick of her faith, first of all, and also the our discussion? Look at your mistakes first as well, and if you want to point out something about somebody doing something that you know is not correct, do it privately. Don't do it in front of all people, because then you're exposing them, or you're creating fitna, you're creating conflict within the group, and this is not good for anybody. And the person who started it, they are the problem as well. And so all these nonsense issues, like, I know what the ruling is on hijab, I know what the ruling is on these things, but this is secondary compared to who Allah is. Obviously, this is secondary to Tawheed. This is secondary to the obligatory things like our prayers and all those things. And okay, that's obligatory as well, but like I'm saying, we should be reminding ourselves much more about the Tawheed, much more about the purpose of your life. Every time you enter a mosque, there should be a discussion, or your madrasa, or whatever you guys have. There should be a talk every week about, okay, how Allah, I don't know, created the universe, or what was what's the purpose of your life, what's the, maybe some other schools have different opinions on this, but like this should be the main focus of our efforts. And this is what creates this sects, and this is what I don't really like there's this nationalism within this group. Every group has different identity. And I was just here Juma on Friday praying with in a Turkish mosque, and it was like 99% Turkish people. Like, what is this? And I know it's open to others, but like, I think we need to, I mean, this is a case here. Of course, we should have a local presence, but I'm just saying, there's a lot of baggage Muslims are carrying with them, the ones who are born to it, that has culture, and they are not recognizing what's culture and what's Islam. And they should get rid of the culture, because for me, the culture makes no sense. And I don't want to do anything with your culture, because I have my culture, but Islam should be kept there. And I see people are not understanding this. They oftentimes do these things like, I don't know, like why are we doing salat so quickly? Or in this mosque recently, it was like 10-minute quick Juma. I didn't feel anything. It was very quick. I don't know. It was strange compared to my usual experience. So it's like the most important thing is the connection with Allah. If we're forgetting about it and we're getting caught up in rituals or in some trivial things, really, I'm boiling inside, whenever we are discussing these things, because even the basics are not here still. This is the case for people who are Muslims as well and who have their own communities. They are also just talking about this. They are not talking about Tawheed, the oneness of Allah. And this is something we should always keep in check and always remind ourselves. Always asking, what do you give Allah? What do you give Allah? What Allah gave you, but what do you give to Him? Nothing. Nothing in reality. And this is why I love Mohammed Hoblos. He's like my favorite sheikh, because he like cuts to the chase and always reminds people what's the most important thing in your religion. And in any faith, the most important thing is God, the concept of God, but we're not discussing it. And today I was watching a lot of these Indian videos where these older gentlemen from village, where they have no internet, nothing, they were watching like, people who jump on parkour or go on space or eating McDonald's, or these funny videos on YouTube, and they were reacting to them, and they were really genuine, because these are like older Muslims or young Muslims, but one really cool old guy, and he was like always he was always genuine, and he always said what he felt like. My heart is pleased now. He was just a pure person. And I watched them for like 2 or 3 hours today, reacting to all kinds of stuff, different things. And I could see in them, I don't know, always praising God, even if they saw, like, they showed them the how the universe began video and how it evolved over 13 billions of years. They were always praising God during that. They didn't dismiss it. They were always like, oh, or how deep the ocean is and all these things. It's amazing how these people, always remind themselves of God, always. And they don't get twisted with the things, because we have to. One other thing I want to discuss. Sorry that I'm venting, by the way, but I have this thing in me. One other thing I want to discuss is this. Most people in any faith, they don't study it actually. So when I was a Christian, I never read the Bible. When I was an atheist, I never thought through the arguments. I just defaultly went to atheism, but I didn't really think it through. So now that I'm a Muslim, I thought it through. I've decided, based on different things and rational and super rational reasons, to become a Muslim. But most people don't do this. So most people, like those Indian villagers who live in complete poverty, they maybe know Quran, but they don't get involved in these things that much, like who did this, what hadith say about this. Like, they don't study thousands of books of hadiths or have bachelor's degree in Islamic history or Islamic studies. They are not concerned with this. They are concerned with their daily life. They are farmers or whatever. And this is most people have normal lives. Religion is part of it. They feel it because it's fitra, it's a disposition to believe in God. And I could see it in them, always praising God and always recognizing, yes, we of course we believe in God. It's even a nonsensical question to them to to say that there isn't a God. And they and so these people, we need to, what is their faith based on? Is it on some hadith, or is it on some logical argument, cosmological argument? No, it's on fitra, it's on their first person experience. the relationship with Allah. And that's the most important thing. That's tawheed. That's the essence of every faith, of Islam, Christianity, Judaism, any other faith. It's always that connection to the unseen, to the spirituality. And that spirituality, that's how you profess your spirituality. And I always have definitely respect for people, however they find it. If you want to do Hinduism and you really believe in it and you feel great, then do it. What am I here to do? Like, I know this is the truth, but like, if you don't want to study this and don't want to understand it and you feel some other way, I'm not going to force you to do anything. But to really receive that spirituality, you need that connection through whatever means. And we're missing that connection as an ummah. We're definitely missing it way much. Some Muslims maybe pray but they don't feel anything. Like, what? Like, it's so difficult, you know. So anyways, these are just my some of my thoughts. What do you guys think? Let me know. Why do you agree with me that the most important thing in all religions, but mostly Islam, is Allah, is the concept of Tawheed, and not how many wives Muhammad, peace be upon him, had, or what happened in some history books, or how many hadiths there are? Are those the most important things? How should you do wudu? Is that the most important thing, or is Allah most important? Are rituals more important, or is Allah the most important? Like, just high level grounding. Do we have it, or are we too obsessed with rituals and all these rules, Sharia, and not really understanding why are we doing it? What is Tawheed? What's the purpose of life? What's going to happen when you die? So let me know your thoughts, because it's been something I'm thinking of, because whenever I get involved in the discussion, it always goes in some minor issue and I get bored. Like, I don't know. That's just my nature. I don't like to talk about small details. I like to think big and I like to be involved in bigger discussions. And of course, small things matter as well. But I don't know. I just don't think that that's the problem that we have at this point. So that's it. Let me see some comments. I don't even know what does that mean. Do you know in Zohar and Babylonian Talmud there is black magic? Talmud, that's Jewish law. There is black magic. I don't think this is actually the topic I want to discuss. So thanks, Salam. It's going well, Said. Thanks. Salam, and may you stay blessed and safe. I'm about to sleep here, but I'll watch this whole video when I wake up, inshallah, Muhammad. So when you're watching this, you're already up. So happy morning. Assalamu alaikum. By the way, guys, you know what I don't like? If you have pictures like cat or dog, like, this makes me feel like this is not a real person, but just a troll. I know maybe there's a real person, but like, just be a human and get a picture, because really, especially on social media like Facebook or something, are you hiding who you are? Like, what? Subhanallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Salam. Mashallah, great bro. You're on the kind. Bless. Keep on, go on, keep. Keep, go on, keep. I'll keep it. I'll keep it. I agree. Salam, Phil. Hey, what's up? As a born Muslim, I can confirm that Iman indeed is the most important. A lot of born Muslims around me lack foundation to perform the rituals. Yeah, and I spoke with a lot of them actually recently. And even I had a discussion with Zishan from the Ummah Times, and he said that they sent him to a Quran school when he was a kid. And all they did there was to memorize Quran. What? How pointless is that? You need to be pondering over the verses. Like, I can memorize the Quran and like say it, but if I'm not understanding the reason why I'm saying something and the wisdom behind it, it is gonna fall on deaf ears. So like, the entire purpose of the Quran, where is it? I don't have it here, but the entire purpose of the Quran is to ponder over the verses. Even Allah says in the Quran, don't you think? What do you think? And all these things, he mentions it like tens and tens of times throughout the Quran. Think, ponder, reflect. Yet we just take it and memorize it. Like, why? Yes, memorize the Quran. And I'm sure it helps to recite it. I'm sure it helps to get you closer to Allah. I'm 100% convinced. But if you don't have an understanding why you're doing it and who is Allah, then it's like it's the same when I was a Catholic and the church made me do something. I didn't understand why. Like this is the reason why I left church, because the rituals, if they get too um, burdensome on somebody, people will leave the religion. Like if you have a kid, if you have a children, you're a parent, and you make them pray, you make them do these things without understanding why they're doing it, you never answer their questions, at some point they'll just leave it, leave the faith, or they won't do it. And you know, you'll hate yourself for that, and you will be like, what did I do? How come I didn't raise these kids well? Well, you'd never explained the basics. You never explained the Tawheed. What's the purpose of the life? What happens when you die? Which is the reason that what I studied all this time. All the other stuff, all the other stuff are secondary. All the other stuff are secondary. The foundation, you need to wake up the fitra, wake up the fitra. Um, And so, yeah, if you're doing rituals, but you don't have a spiritual connection, then it's all pointless, to be honest. Iman, if you don't feel Iman, of course it's going up and down. Of course it is. But, well, the more you're doing charity, the more you're doing all these acts of worship, the closer you're getting. But the more you're going with your desires and away, the less your Iman kind of grows. But yeah, you need to get your wisdom right. And I think maybe there's 2 billion Muslims, but I would say a big majority of them um, don't actually have the foundation correct. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's much more than that or much less, but from what I've seen, I don't know. I question it. I question it. Anyways, maybe I'm completely wrong, but I just feel there's, I don't know. I'm just looking at it from a marketing perspective as well. Like, what do people want? What do people want? Not Muslims. What do they want? If you want to do dawah, well, they want to know the purpose of the life. They don't want to know how to do wudu. They don't want to know how to pray. They don't want to know if this is an authentic hadith or not. They want to just know, what's the purpose of my life? Does it make sense? Can it wake up my fitra? And that's something we should always keep in touch also for us, so that we don't forget about it and we don't do these acts of worship without understanding why we're doing it. Oh, great call, man, by the way. By the Lord of Kaaba, I have succeeded. Hi. I hide who I am on YouTube because of trolls, lol. What trolls? I'm on YouTube, I have my face, and I have people looking at me. And what trolls do you have? Tell me. Do you have a YouTube channel, or because of just comments? Just have a real picture, guys. What do you think about the Taliban, Jan? What? Um, Taliban. I don't know. I think it's crazy what's going on in Afghanistan. I think it's more political. I don't think it's. I think, of course, there are some Islamic elements to it, and they take it to extreme. Um, I think this happens when you create a vacuum of power. You remove the ruling figures of the country, and you try for 20 years to implement democracy in a country where they don't want democracy, and you are a foreign power occupying them, and then you leave. Of course, that's natural that the vacuum of power will get filled by terrorists or extreme people from Taliban. So I don't have any opinion. To me, they are crazy, because they're killing people. So killing Muslims. But anyways, when you go through spiritual bad patch, you need your brothers and sisters to help you back. Yeah, you need a good surrounding. You need a good ummah. And so even if you were living in a Muslim country, and but you don't have a good surrounding, but everything is Muslim, it may be even worse for you than to live in a non-Muslim country. But you have, let's say you have like 20 people that you know, and you keep in touch and you organize debates and you try to move the deen. Then that's better for you because you keep each other in check. And I think that's what I'm gonna have. um but yeah, I agree. Yeah, I've heard, we had a discussion last weekend about Sufism, I think, but there was a sheikh talking about something, and he said, Islam is 80% your behavior and 20% rituals. So you can't really see the behavior. You can see a guy with a big beard and this and everything, and mashallah, he's a great Muslim. But what if he goes home, he beats his wife, he doesn't pay, he steals? Is he a better Muslim than somebody like me who doesn't do that but doesn't look like a Muslim? Like, it's all behavior, it's all intention. Behind every deed, there should be an intention and all behavior. Because if you're doing all those external things, you're just doing it to kind of flash, to be like, hey, mashallah, he's a good Muslim. But it's not about that. We all know it's all about the heart, and Allah looks at the heart. He doesn't care how long your beard is. So that's the thing. Yeah, I don't know how do we solve this. Let me know, guys. What do you think we need to wake up this? Because basically, what I've done, I had a big spiritual journey, but it all was based on Allah at the end, and the fitra kicked in, and it was based on the oneness of Allah, and all some arguments, but really Allah mostly. And how do we revive this in Muslims so that maybe they get the spiritual kick? Like, oh, they like Imam, like skyrocks, maybe through some logical arguments that we are already doing with some atheists. But I don't know. Let me know if you have any idea. Well, the fact today is many Muslims are Muslims just by names. These are not Islamic. Even people among us lack a lot of understanding. They are drawn towards materialistic things. Especially, yeah, I agree with you, Rahil, especially in countries like Saudi Arabia or United Arab Emirates. If you look at these buildings and all the money from oil and how they spend it and how useless the entire country they built is, like how bad the cities are designed, like Dubai is a horrible city. When you look at the infrastructure, the amount of, like, how they build it, they took the US architecture model and put it in a desert, and it didn't work that much. I mean, it's a great city, it looks great, but it's actually a big it's not designed well at all. And it's just a shame that they are too obsessed with dunya, these Arabs, and they don't really they are the original ones who received the message, but they are the most obsessed, even more than the kuffar, with the dunya, even much more. You have to have a flashy Lamborghini, you have to have a rain in the desert, and all these things. Like, what? Strange stuff are going on in this dunya. What can I say? I'm just saying we need to revive the understanding. Yeah. Yeah, I just hope to be part of that a bit, because I realize my limitations. I'm not a sheikh, and I'm not somebody who studied theology or Christianity. To be honest, I'm not good at it, and I don't even like it. I don't. I don't really care about it that much. It doesn't really. There's no passion. What I am passionate about is waking people up from the dream world. So doing like early dawah. But if we're talking about some specific issues, you need a scholar or somebody of knowledge. But doing that early waking up, that's what I enjoy. subhanallah, and just kind of like organizing stuff. I agree that you not leave your critical factors when you become a Spanish. That's actually even the opposite, because like if you look at Al Ghazali or other philosophers and scholars, they actually like were much more critical as Muslims, and you should always try to question things, not to undermine the wisdom behind it, but try to understand it. So, why Muslim men can marry four women? Can you explain it? Yes, be open minded and hear the arguments. Okay, who's the father if woman has more men? If a man has more women, we all know who the father is, who has the responsibility of the kids. Why is it like this? We can talk about psychology of women and men, and then we can give you some arguments as well based on history and why men die sooner, and why some women who are divorced are better off as a second wife of a guy than being let alone and not have any money. So there's so many rational arguments behind this, but you have to be open to hear them. So of course, and now you understood, but you had to ask the question. So people who say don't question this, they are wrong. You have to understand the wisdom behind some things, but all wisdom comes from Allah. All wisdom comes from Allah. So we're just trying to interpret it, but we don't really grasp it that on every level. Yeah, yeah, I think a lot of you guys agree with me, right? mm, Got some good coffee here. I think you guys agree with me. I think we hit it. It's a big problem in our community, right? All this focus on rules, yet people don't even know why. Crazy, crazy stuff. I don't know. It's just mind-boggling. I always, and this is true in every aspect of your life without religion as well. Like in business, this happens a lot. People, because I have a marketing agency, and people come to me and say like, we want to make this much money. We've tried this. We've tried Google Ads. We've tried this. We spend this much money on salespeople. It didn't work. We even did this channel that you're doing, but it didn't work for us. So what do you suggest? What's wrong with their approach? They're not looking high level. They're not looking high level. So I always ask them, okay, what's your goal? Why are you doing it? And they don't know. Like, well, how much revenue do you want to make? How much money do you want to make? Um, how do you get there? Just because you tried something and it didn't work doesn't mean the channel is wrong, because maybe you wrote it bad or you don't have the skill to fulfill the channel. So why do you have this behavior that this channel doesn't work just because it didn't work for you? Maybe it does work, you just don't know how to operate in it. Did you hire a professional? Did you try to do it on your own? And many times we find out like they actually have no strategy. What they did, they just spent thousands and thousands of dollars on random ads on LinkedIn or on Google or somewhere, and nothing happened because they just drove people to the website. They didn't even prepare any sort of books for them or some magnet to drive the contacts. Just like no thinking behind why are they doing it. Just focused. They are too much focused on the activity. What should we do to do this? But we have no backend. The backend means what are we gonna do once it works? Do we have that prepared? And the same thing here. Like we have no backend for converts. Like if they come to Islam, but we don't have the backend in terms of our understanding of Islam, of who Allah is. Just basic. Man, Muslims struggle in faith because they only talk about rules. Yes, that's why I find a lot of ex-Muslims with no understanding of the foundations of their faith. Yeah, I actually watched a stream with Apostate Prophet and some other ex-Muslim just for fun. And they were talking about why are Muslims so mad at Christians for Trinity or something. Like, if Allah is all powerful, why can't he be three persons? Like, this is clearly coming from their lack of understanding of who Allah is, because you can't associate partners with him. He cannot be. It's like a square circle, it's the same thing. So Yeah, it's all the understanding is wrong. No logic reasoning. As a non-Muslim, I like all spiritual practices and traditions. I like universal truths. That's great. Oh, I used to. It depends what sort of traditions do you think are spiritual, right? So I definitely have respect for all spiritual traditions, whether it's yoga, meditation, or whatever. You want to go to church, do that. But to really find universal truth, which you describe in your comment, you have to go through process of elimination. And so some of these practices don't lead to the truth, because the truth can only be one. There cannot be more truths. And so if you want the truth, you need to go through logical reasoning as well then. And so if you have a religion, let's say as Hinduism, when they claim there's millions of gods, and if you have a religion such as Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, where they claim there's just one God, or if you have a religion such as Buddhism, which is not really a religion, but they claim there is no God, it's just like how you live your life, there's just energy, karma, whatever. Which one is right? So one of them needs to be closer. Does any of them explain the beginning of the universe? Is any of them in direct conflict with science? If yes, then it's not the right religion. So that's how you have to come to the truth. And then you have to realize, look at the reality of this world. What do we know about it? And compare it with all the religions. And you'll see you won't have many choices. And you'll see that Islam does make most sense, especially when you look at the creation of the universe and why are we here, and what's going to happen when you die. It is much more comprehensive, and the scripture is much more reliable than anything else. And but all of these things, they have pieces of truth and knowledge in them, and spirituality, of course, but there is just one universal truth. You can go through the process and get to this on your own as well, mashallah. Let me see. Things have to be done because I want to do them, not have to do them. Indeed, loving Allah and understanding the words of connecting with Him for better life makes one willing to do things. Yeah, it's just like, if we really knew who Allah is, we wouldn't ask like crazy questions. If you know who Allah is, you would never drink alcohol. So because you're drinking alcohol, that means you don't know who Allah is in reality, because you still think it's like, maybe you get closer to him in your prayers, but you don't really are God conscious throughout. You don't have taqwa of him throughout your daily day, let's say. But if we really knew that he's actually the one in control of all the decisions, plus you have your free will, but he's the one who already predetermined everything. He's the one giving you everything. He has given you so much that you can't even thank him. If you lived forever, you wouldn't even be able to thank him for just today, what you get today. And your heart beats. You don't even control your heart, and it still beats, right? Like, there's so many things. And if you truly understood that, if we truly understood that nothing is impossible in this dunya, in this world, if Allah is with you, and that's what the prophets understood, nothing is impossible. So whenever I hear people in this country where I'm from, they say like, you know Islam, it's, people don't really like it. It's really difficult, and we should just stay underground, or we shouldn't really do dawah here because it's. I'm like, do you understand who Allah is? Like, these are concerns that you shouldn't even think about. Like, look at the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Like, did he have those concerns when he was in Mecca and there were like 30 Muslims? Of course not. Of course not. He faced a much much bigger adversity. Yet he knew that the God is with him. Same in, I think it's in Hinduism or in another tradition where there's this battle, and the main person in the battle, he knows God is riding with him. So if you know God is with you, then you wouldn't even ask these questions like, it's so difficult in this non-Muslim country. So what? For Allah, everything is easy. He can change things. He can change space time. So why are you talking about being so difficult? And then they say like, oh, well, that's not realistic. You still haven't understood how Allah is? Because like, yeah, just then it means that you haven't really figured it out yet. You still have some question about the you still think you somehow control the outcome of whatever action you're doing. No, 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 no. It's already been predetermined. So there's not, you don't have a correct understanding. And so, yeah, I think this is like a big problem. Like if you knew who Allah is, you wouldn't ask, oh, it's a problem to do dawah or it's a problem to do this. No, no problem. There's no problem. So let's see what happens here. Man, there's so many comments. Um, I don't have a picture because I can't really be bothered to put one. Putting your pig as a female. Oh, you're a female major spook. Okay, got it. Yeah, that's fine. Jeffrey Lang said Islam is 3% rule. Conde. Yeah, I love Jeffrey Lang. I love Jeffrey Lang. His perspective is so fresh, so fresh. Love him. I have a serious question. Have you been to Mecca? Do you feel an energy that the structure creates? I haven't been to Mecca. I've been to Istanbul, so I can't answer that. But I know there's some magnetic pull and the other things. But if you're not a Muslim, you're not gonna feel it. So never mind. You won't even get there as a non-Muslim. So that's the problem. No need to generalize these Arabs, though agree with the love for dunya, the need to revive the Sunnah, learning it first that's starkly lacking in several Muslim countries. Um, I'm not generalizing, but it is kind of true, at least what I'm looking at the Saudis and everybody. Uh, so the same thing, like everybody's kind of generalizing every other country. So yeah, not every, of course, Arab, but I see it as a big problem. Not sure how to revive the spirituality as born Muslims. Spirituality is sort of based on Sufism, but not really, but a sort of. You have to have a connection. But for me, I had more understanding and of my religion as a result of it being attacked online and me feeling the need to defend it. Yeah, that's great. That happened to me as well. But I wasn't a Muslim, so I had to look through these arguments myself, right? Like to see European culture and Islam that keeps all the fundamental aspects of involved with one of the cultural additions from other country. Yeah, it's exactly like that's what I would be very curious to see. Like, how is it gonna work in different European countries? It can be really beautiful. On the other hand, a lot of young people apostate as a result of attack on Islam online. Sure, but you don't have a correct understanding because all these attacks I can justify or not justify. I hate being the guy who justifies religion, apologetics or what it's called. I don't want to be that guy because I don't know everything, but these attacks are usually on one of the not even secondary issues, but one of the things like, what about the capital punishment of Islam, or what about evolution and Islam, what about this? Like they take some things literally and they misinterpret them, or they take a Sharia thing, but please attack the main thing, attack Tawheed. That's the thing you should be attacking, but you see you can't because it doesn't there's no other answer. So if you remove the Tawheed, then you will crumble Islam probably. But Tawheed is never going away because what is the alternative? Atheism, and that has been debunked. So subhanallah. Unlike the golden age of Islam, it seems that the people of that time were truly transcending human nature, being in touch with Allah without copying other people. Yeah, it must have been great. I would Albania. I would love to be in that kind of environment. Yeah. I don't know. I think we kind of lost that vibe. Get rid of ego, arrogance, contemplate and fix your behavior by following true Sunnah and go back to the roots of Islam, pure, simple, and humble. True. Just go back. Go back. Study the Prophet's life and study the Quran and ponder over the verses. Read some good tafsirs, some good explanations of verses. Don't just read the Quran because you won't be able to grasp all of it. Read tafsir with it, hopefully. How do you market Islam to Muslims alike so people actually understand the faith rather than what they hear in the media? That's a big question, Phil. I have no answer to this because non-Muslims different, Muslims different. So, for example, I'm organizing now a debate for about 20, 30 people about why women wear hijab or why they cover themselves. You maybe saw the update on my community tab. And that's the first dawah here. And it's for non-Muslims. Hopefully some show up. And we're gonna talk about the benefits of it. So there's already people telling like, okay, this is how long your hijab should be. This is how much. This is the. You see, this is the problem. We're not understanding. Nobody cares about this. I want to know the benefit of the why, and we can't mention the Quran because it's not from Muslims. So let's talk about benefits. Okay, when when woman is covered, what's the benefit for a man? What's the benefit for a woman? Does she get harassed? Does she get crazy stares on the streets? Um, and all these things. So there's there's many ways to answer your question. Just to say hi about Dubai and Saudi Arab cities, I agree with you. It is true, design is not from a culture or urban environment. Yeah, it's so sad, right? If it was like pure Islamic, if it would be like great mosques, old town Arabs, and like good highways and skyscrapers, but like designed not in the US kind of architecture, but like um, with the Arabian kind of vibe, it would be so much better. Mashallah, keep up the good work. What are your favorite YouTube channels? There's many. Oh, there's many. Let me see. Bold and Bankrupt, Haram, but that's my favorite. It's a guy traveling through former Soviet Union, and he just goes there and films on GoPro. It's just really interesting to see because it's very close to where I'm from. Um, I used to watch PewDiePie a lot. I don't watch him anymore. And then yeah, I watch a bunch of Muslim channels, as you know. I watch yeah, anything with Mohammed Hoblos. He's like the most important guy for my understand for some basic stuff, and he cuts to the chase a lot. Uh, I don't know. I have to check my subscriptions. Let me check just for fun to see if I have any uh, specific things on mind. So Common Man Show is great. That's about the Indian guys who react to things. I love reaction channels sometimes. Then I like yeah, Subur Ahmad. I like what else? Mike Tyson's podcast is the best, even though it's a bit bad now. One Message Foundation, it's awesome. Today I just watched a shahada of this woman. Man, 50 minutes. It was amazing. Um, Sheikh Uthman, he's really a real deal. Yeah, who else do I watch? I like some videos from Yakin Institute. Yeah, and just I don't really have many kind of like YouTube channels that I follow. Subhanallah. By the way, the Arabs, like the rest of love this dunya, and sedition strikes them if they stay away from the teachings of Islam. No one is perfect. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. That's why we need to always have these reminders going on because you think like, oh, I already know Tawheed. I already know these things. You actually need to hear it if you have this attitude. You need to be reminded because then you ask me, why should we do dawah? It's difficult. It's difficult. You can get into problems. There are people who will harass us. Do you understand who Allah is? If this is the question you're asking, you're not understanding. The Prophet told us that this will happen. You will stray away from Islam. Exactly, I know. Yeah, it's been one of the prophecies. Inshallah. I saw your update, but are you making marketing this talk to? Yes. I think a turn up will be like 20, 30 people. It's already confirmed by like 40 people. So I hope not more because we have some COVID restrictions. Marketing, I'm marketing on Facebook in different Facebook groups, email newsletters. Um, Islamic foundations are marketing it, stuff like that. It's fairly easy. From my experience having to explain the benefits of hijab to women all my adult life, here's a tip: the manner of how you advise them is more important than the facts. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I'm questioning a sister who is gonna explain it. So that's gonna be amazing. But guys, thank you so much for the stream. I gotta do some workout today because I've been just not doing much. But I will next week. I'm releasing a podcast with Angel. Plus, I'm gonna release a podcast with Jake, the metaphysician, about Kalam cosmological argument. We're gonna walk through it. Plus, I'm gonna have a video about all halal shops in Prague. Plus, maybe I'm gonna have a video about all mosques in Prague, so you will see that. What else? Let me just check my schedule. If there's anything else? Yeah, I think that's it. So we're gonna have a plenty of content. Um, cool. So thank you so much for watching. Jazak Lakir. And let's unite the Ummah. Let's not forget about the most important thing. What's the purpose of your life? It's to worship Allah, it's to get to know Him, it's to get closer to Him. But also, like, why? Because we know we want to pass the test. And if we forget about the reason, is if we forget about all these things, it's going to be a problem, because doing rituals without understanding why, it's going to lead you astray. So just keep that in mind. Always refresh your iman by reading the Quran. Read the Quran through the passages where Allah is talking, and just watch a ton of videos also about that. Yeah, never forget about Allah. All the other stuff important, but not that much. Anyways, thank you so much for being here, and let's catch up next week. See you later. Have a great weekend. Thank you, guys.